Oh no, Serenity Winz. Oh no, where's the spaceship? Oh, I'm really losing. I'm really losing. Yeah, episode number 8. We're aliens. We like the podcast so much. We're going to watch aliens watching Serenity Winz. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Serenity Winz, episode number 8. That's right. As you could tell, my hand movement of the spaceship wasn't as good as, say, on episode 7. But hey, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. You know where you are. You're here at Serenity Winz, and we're having a great time. We're doing our second recording of the day. But for you, it doesn't matter because it could be 2 days after, 3 days after. You could be in your car. You could be on your way to work. You could be gardening. You could be taking care of the kids, right? Because it's summertime and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with my kids anymore. So, you just listen to the podcast while I'm stalling, trying to find my page with all my subject matter. That's right. We make it up as we go along. So I was really happy about having that spaceship, but now I realize, okay, I can't lose my page. All right. So now here we are. And Tiff is with us, so that's really cool. And we got OD77. And we got FM version. That's like really cool. I got like 2 people who are like hanging out with me. Oh, I had 115 eyeballs. That's really cool. All right. And I forgot to mention at the end of the last episode, which is something I also want to say. So I'll bring it up right away. 2 things. Number 1, Serenity Winz is not at all affiliated or sponsored by any official organization such as Alcoholics Anonymous or any of the like. So this is just, I shouldn't say just. No. This is just a podcast about this guy. He's a really great guy. We love the guy. Yeah, he's got something. I don't know what it is, but you know, he's got to watch and watch. It's all about the time. So you get the time to watch his watch. Okay, so definitely not sponsored by any organization. And I wanted to say that. The other thing I wanted to say that I didn't say in the last one, and I'm going to say right away, share this podcast. Share it because you never know, it could literally save someone's life. If you know someone who's suffering, who's struggling, who's not able to get his feet inside a meeting yet, maybe if he listens to or he or she, by the way, I'm doing a show also for women. We made that clear at episode number 6. I'm for everybody. Maybe hearing this podcast and hearing what has to be said or what is said by me, a recovering alcoholic, which is what the show is all about, with a lot of humor, of course. What do you mean, like funny? Haha, you're funny? What do you mean by funny? It literally could save someone's life. So make sure you share this podcast with as many people as you can. On YouTube, on Instagram. Well, we're working on it. And when I say we're, I mean me, because I'm still in the process of finding a producer. So we're figuring out how, Instagram works. And Spotify also. That's another thing. Oh, thanks for sharing the live. I really appreciate that. And we got graphics now. We got graphics at the bottom of the screen. Serenity. I got to put my finger there. Whoa. Oh, yeah, because I reversed the screen because or else you did. There we go. Serenity. And then podcast. Oh, there. Podcast. Serenity. For those of you listening on YouTube, not watching me, I'm actually using my finger to squish. No, it's behind. I'm not even. Oh, it's very difficult. Your brain is like, because yeah. So anyway, so that's what I did. Ouais, tu parles beaucoup, toi. Ouais, c'est ce que je fais. S'il y a des francophones qui prennent le temps de m'écouter, faites-moi signe. Ça me fait plaisir de vous parler en français. Surtout sur TikTok. Je suis plus à l'aise de m'exprimer en anglais. C'est pour ça que je fais le podcast en anglais. Possiblement, éventuellement, je pourrais faire un podcast en français. Je ne me sens pas encore prêt pour faire ça. So, without further ado, let's get right into the first topic for episode number 8, which I think is something really, really. You got 1,000 likes? Yeah, 1,000 likes. Whoop, whoop. You know, Tiff, when I used to sing and dance, people used to give me like 25, 30,000, 32,000 likes. Yeah. I'd start my podcast like around 8 or 9, and then I'd go up to like 11, 11:30. But I was singing and dancing. I was like, hee hee. I was doing like Michael Jackson, and now I just do Christopher Watkins. And you understand. He's, it, it's a challenge to imitate, to impersonate, to give him justice. So maybe that's why. But I really love the 1K. So, topic number 1, bring back learning into your life. Now, for my younger audience, if you happen to be going to school, college, university, you may think this applies to others, but I'm also going to say it applies to you because the type of learning that you do is different. And why do I say bring back learning? Well, I'm in my 40s, and I meet quite a few people who somehow when they reach their 40s, they're kind of settled into that mode of living. You know, whatever that mode is, you know, go to work, come back home, eat, kiss the wife if they're still with a wife or the girlfriend or whatever, sit down, watch a bit of Netflix, go to bed. 32. You know, I I I admit I feel like I'm 32 sometimes, but I'm in my 40s. So Netflix, and then kiss the wife, the girlfriend, the dog, whatever. Good night, and go back to sleep. And then you're in that routine that you're really not doing much except existing, right? I've said that before. There's a difference between living life and existing. But also, the important reason to get back into learning is because your muscle is literally, it's like a brain. And we have what are called our synapses. And when we do something new, we form them, we create them, and they're like they cluster together. So when you stop learning, you stop. I mean, obviously, synapses always constantly form, but they're less there. So many folks who are convinced that the idea of getting older means that their brain gets weaker, it's an error in thinking. And the reason is it's more than the age, it's about the exercise. They're not using their brain. They're not using it as a muscle as it's supposed to be done. And especially nowadays with all these gadgets and techs, basically you no longer need to think for yourself. Everything can be done for you. You use even less of your brain. So you turn into mush even quicker. And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing a wave of people that they're really pre-aging. Like they shouldn't be aging so quickly, and their mind shouldn't be like going off like that. The amount of people that I keep hearing about how the senility and whatnot. And I do believe, it's my hypothesis, that as long as you're learning, really, for those of you, why did I say really? Tiff on TikTok said, thank you for this because I'm really struggling with math. Well, math is the language of numbers. It's the formulas. I actually saw recently, and I'm far from being a mathematician, but I saw Steven Spielberg's latest film, Disclosure Day, and of course, to communicate with the aliens, they use math. But that's what math is. It's a language of communication. So keep up with it because that's how it works. And I'm sure you're probably doing like more agile math than say I can do 2 plus 2 equals 5. Of course, I'm kidding. I know it's not 5. It's 3. That 2, I'm kidding. I know it's 4. You're welcome. 3? Yeah, you know. When you're like an alcoholic, you kind of invent things on your own. You kind of live in your own little reality there. So 2 plus 2 equals. Actually, to be no. When I used to say, you know, and someone would say, I do zoo, I say 3. And then you go 3. Is that 3? Is 4? Ugh, I don't feel good. Is that is it what it? Yeah. You know, within the movement, we have promises, right? The 12 promises that will happen when you join the movement, by joining the movement, by sobering up, if you want. And one of them is, as much as you were shamed by your past experiences or your past demeanor, you will understand how your experience will benefit others. I believe this to be true, and I think it's what allows me to poke fun at myself, because I've been in that state where I can't, you know, I'm not proud of it, but if someone understands that I used to be that and now I'm this, I am now able to communicate properly through the power of a microphone that I got on Amazon and share some of those crazy ideas that I have in order to help someone. So we should always remember to be, I have to be careful the word that I use. Remembering our experiences are part of who we are. And we may not be at the point where we're proud of what we did, but no, erase the but, because that's clear. We may not be at the point where we're not proud of what we did. One day, we can laugh about it. Yeah. One day, we can laugh. One day, we can laugh about it. And that's something, I think. See, I practiced Christopher Walken's today, and now I like everything I get to say is like, I'm Christopher Walken this and Christopher Walken that. What about Sean Connery? Well, he's there. You better believe he's there. They put that was a great movie. Great movie. Oh, speaking of movie, I want to give a really, 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 really big special shout out to Lee, Odie Lee, who is we didn't even talk about what his title is, but he's the one that books the bands at Yield Orchard Pub in Saint Sauveur. And he booked an amazing band, and it was a tribute to the Rolling Stones, and the band is called, drum roll. Oh, here's right. Here's where I take out the drumsticks there. Drum roll. The Wild Horses. Man, I cannot describe to you how that band was amazing. The guy, shout out to Tommy, sounds like Mick Jagger. Totally, like he was singing Angie, he was singing Wild Horses could drag me away. I know where of course, as some of you may know. Not only do I not know the lyrics of the song, but when I'm not practicing the song, and I just muff it up. But that was an amazing band. If you happen to be in the province of Quebec, in the townships, in the Laurentian, I should say, in Saint Sauveur on the 29th of August, go there. They're going to be playing again. They are amazing. Their energy, their drive, and really the entire band. I'm gonna go and we're remembering their name. There's Tommy, who's the singer. There's Tony. There's Chris, and there's the bassist. Yeah, there's always the bassist. Like even last time when I was talking about another band, I was like, and there's the bassist. I don't know why that is, but Chris, yes, Chris, exactly. Were you there? Were you there? Are you like, you know what I'm talking about? So it was a great show, and I really wanted, and I told him, I said, I'm going to bring this onto the podcast, you know. So if you get a chance, go and check them out. And if you just surf on the internet, look for Wild Horses, tribute to the Rolling Stones. They're really amazing, and it was a great show. I was so happy and a lot of fun. So I wanted to do that, get that out of the way, so I get to use the drumstick. Run, dude. All right. Maybe I'll actually practice the drumming more. Which, by the way, it's actually on my bar stool. Well, it's a chair. It's like a bar stool, whatever. All right, enough of that. Enough of those shenanigans. Okay, so here we go. Topic number 1: bringing back learning to life. We already talked about that. Well, we didn't. We're talking about it. Although I'm talking a lot. So I'll give you my personal example. I recently realized that I was spending way too much time on social media. And I guess the reason was, what was the reason? It always starts off, you're looking for something, right? You got to buy something or you got to rent an apartment. And even though you're never on Facebook, suddenly you got to be on Marketplace and you got to, oh, my dad friends with Chris. Really? Wow, that's awesome. That's totally cool. Very cool, actually, I should say. Thank you. He's a great drummer, by the way. Great drummer. Sorry, I got kind of distracted right there. But so when I decided that I wanted to stop using Facebook, I think it was a dating app, because I've broken up now for 6 months and I'm a good guy. I'm a good looking guy. I think I got a bit of a brain. Yeah. I still got the, how you doing? And so, you start scrolling. Next thing you know, 30 minutes go by, 40 minutes, and you're like, you swipe left, swipe. And I said, no. This thing sucks the energy out of humans, literally. That's how I see it. And I know you're thinking, well, hold on a second. We're watching you on YouTube. Is YouTube social media? Is it, or is it just a media? And yes, I'll post some snippets on Facebook, but I'd really rather you go and do something else. I want you to be aware of Serenity Winz, but So this week I went off and I said, okay, I'm going to find some, and I don't want to use the term application. They're apps, but they are. But they're apps to make me sound more smarter. It's sucking people out. Yep. To spend more time in their, I know. So I didn't really know where to choose, but I did choose 2 applications. One of them I'm fairly impressed. The other one I'm on the fence. And the reason I'm on the fence is I was expecting, based on their coverage and their advertising, I was expecting something and I got something else. Or I didn't exactly get what I was expecting. I'm still using it. And I mean, there is a lot of information that I'm getting. Some of them I already know, but, I am progressing. But I find that the idea that now, instead of spending even 45 minutes or half an hour just scrolling like an idiot, because it is idiot time. Let's face it, Facebook is idiot time. And I'll say this, even if I get banned or whatever, it needs to be said. People need to understand that you're wasting your life on that. And so many people do it and they don't even see the time go by. So I'm happy to say that this week, I would say that although I had to go on it once in a while for whatever reason, I don't think I went beyond, and I want to be moderate. I don't think I went, I think I went anywhere between, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes in the entire week. And often what happens is that part of that big chunk is, say, if I go somewhere and I'm there too early, like if I'm going to a meeting and the meeting's at 7:30, but I end up in my truck at, say, 6:30, I'm in my truck. I'm like, eh. But now, truthfully, that I have these new applications, it went down. So I'm curious to see how much this week. And that got me thinking about the whole learning experience. And even though I'm not in university, I there's no real reason for me to learn, except of course I want to improve myself on my own. But technically speaking, it's not like I have to get a degree for something in order to get something else. I'm just doing it from my own volition. That's right. We had that word last week. And I said to you, I tell you what it means. And let me just pop it up on, because I am a man of my word. When I say something, I really want you, but I don't want to give you my definition. I want to give you the definition because, if you want to do something, do it right. But it's the cognitive process and power of making our own choices and decisions. Right. The volition is the cognitive process and power of making our own choices or decisions. Or if you prefer, the cognitive process and power of making your own. It's your own. It's the one that it's something that came out of you. Choices or decisions. Or if you prefer, volitions is the cognitive process and the power of making your own choices or decisions. Or if you prefer, volition. I screwed that one up. Volitions. I lost Sean Connery. Where are you, Sean? Come back to. I lost Sean, man. I can't find him. Is he in my jacket? Where did Sean go? That's the Chicago. Volitions. I lost Sean. Oh damn. I was good. I think I had Trump and I think I had Watkins, but it's just okay. What if I skip the word volition and just go right into? Hold on. Maybe it's the V sound. The cognitive. No, I just really lost Sean. Connery. All right, whatever. Okay, so that's what volition is. It's basically you make up your mind for yourself. So of my own volition. So I decided to find a way to be more productive. And I guess that's another thing too. You could look at it, be more productive. And if being more productive means that you're learning something, then go for it because it's going to help you remain alert. It's going to help you keep your mind. It's going to make you smarter. Yes, your synapses, they're made to connect together and fuse together. So when we learn something, we do that. I'm really sorry, but I have to go watch a channel. Bye. Sorry. Hey, don't worry. You can watch me on YouTube if you want. If you want to see the whole recap on the YouTube channel on Serenity Winz. That's right. We're on YouTube. But I love the fact that you're there, Tiff. That's really cool. And hey, we're at 137 eyeballs on TikTok. That's really cool there. So learning, yeah, that's what it does. It helps you remain smart, helps you get smarter. And if you happen to be an older person that's getting older, guess what? You're going to stay smart and intelligent a longer time. So that's subject. It's like helicopters, like a truck. I don't know. It's like. So that's subject topic number 1. Right. Glass of water. This show is brought to you by spring water. That's where I get it. I go to a small town about maybe 10, 15 minutes away from here called Santa Gat, and there's actually a water spout that's from the mountain. Like you just go there and the water spout, and it's like there's a lake up there somewhere, and they get the water. And it's been a few years now that I've been going and getting my water there, and it tastes great. Like it just like when you're thirsty and you want to drink something. When you drink this water, you really don't want to drink anything else. I don't think the show can be sponsored by a lake or a river, but hey, if there's a way, you let me know and I'll be happy to share that with you. Okay, so let's get back to topic number 2 on episode number 8. Oh, this one is a good one too, because I think I myself have fallen into that trap every now and then. And it goes a little something like this: vibrating versus faking the frequency towards the universe. Now, I know perhaps some of you are thinking, vibrating versus faking? What is that? That sounds a lot like something, vibrating versus faking? Vibrating versus faking. Oh, my goodness. My wife, she don't know how to fake. She just stayed there, land there. I just, I do my business, man. And then after that, we have a cup of coffee, cup of tea sometimes, with the batters, cup of tea, cup of coffee, depends. But she just lays there, She's been doing it now for about 65 years now, and she, not a complaint from her. So I'm like, okay, I'll do my thing. And no. I wanted to bring out a new character. A friend of mine said, you got a lot. You every time you get into a character, you get into some sort of text, and you get a break. I'm like, okay, my wife, she just lays there. And then, of course, I have my possible future producer who thinks I'm a misogynist. I'm like, oh, that's right. Now the man, while she just lays there, and I'm like, no, this it's another joke. It's humor. But of course, it has nothing to do with that perverted mind that you guys are all thinking about, or at least some of you are thinking about. Vibrating versus faking. We all think about, when we think about faking, I don't know, maybe some of you are a little too young for this, but there was a movie called When Harry Met Sally, and Meg Ryan. Did she win an Oscar for that? No, I don't think you would give an Oscar for faking an orgasm, but it was quite moving, to say the least. So, but I have nothing to do with that. We're just talking about vibrating versus faking the frequency towards the universe. What the hell do you mean by faking the frequency of the universe and the... I'm glad you asked. I mean, and I want to make sure that I explain my thought properly. Sometimes we're so driven, we are so focused on the end result that all the middle stuff, all the stuff that really counts, we kind of put it aside and we just focus on visualizing and, excuse me, brought to you by more water. I realized 2 shows ago, right? Because obviously now there was another show, so I can't say that, but 2 shows ago, towards the end, I was like, there was a lot of horsing. No, not. I like doing that, by the way. It's like. Did I mention my character that I did? I did a puppet show a few years ago, and his name was Googly. He was like, all right. So now I drink water. So please excuse my drinking water in front of you. Being focused on the end result, it's part of the process. However, if you only focus on the end result, such as visualizing and, seeing yourself, there's kind of a part of you that's for the lack of a better word, faking it. You know the expression, obviously, I think Trump is very well known for it. Fake it till you make it. That's right. I, moi. I'm just saying, fake it till you make it. Well, this is true in a certain sense, but in others, it actually backfires. And in that sense of if you're faking that belief, it's not truly in your heart. You're activating it. You are, acting upon it, but there's something inside of you that doesn't really believe it. You may be surprised, and not well surprised for that matter, of some of the results that may happen. And it may also take longer for those results to happen because I would say that you're in that state of what I would describe faking it versus vibrating. And the difference between both is that when you're vibrating it, it's not even a sense of visualizing, like you have to think about it. It's just happening. You feel it. It's inside. It's way stronger than you can imagine. Oh, look at my hair. I never saw my hair like that. Oh yeah, I got hair. I got hair. Look at me. I have hair. You sure you don't have THDDT? Because you clearly get distracted just by seeing yourself with the long hair. No, I don't have TH. I can't even pronounce it. I have labels. They limit people. When you vibrate, there is an assurance that takes place. I will go even more to say you stop the chasing. You are so much into the present moment that the concept of chasing disappears. And this is true for everything. This is true for making sure no one's around. Oh, is the set going to fall on me? No? Okay, good. Dating, you could fake it till you make it, but if you're not vibrating, you're not going to be attracting the kind of person, or any person for that matter, that you want. And if you're in business and you're looking for a business partner, if you're faking it, you might attract the wrong business partner. Anything you do, if there's so many examples I can give, and yet there's none of them that are coming to me right now. Business, relationship, your family. You might be wanting your kids to act a certain way, and they're not, because unconsciously on another level, although you're visualizing it, you are actually not vibrating in that state. So, and they're feeding children they're great beings. And I'm not saying children are bad beings. No, they're like horses. And I'm stopping you right there. When I say someone is like a horse, in my world, it's a great compliment because I love horses. They're wonderful beings. They're wonderful. They can get the best out of you, and they can get the worst out of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you got some problems, you come look at me up, I'll take care of it, right? So whether it's relationship, family, job, business, projects, traveling, you're traveling around the world and stuff happens, and you're like, why did I get robbed? Great example. This week, I went to the coffee shop on a Monday. That's right, the Monday where I don't communicate, I don't talk. I went to the coffee shop, had a little coffee, and then I went home. And as I'm on my way home, I realized my wallet. No, let's stop that. On my shop, coffee, and then go home. At home, I look for my wallet because I got to get out the credit card because now I'm about to purchase some form of application to make me smarter, right? I love saying I'm getting smarter with a little, kind of whatever accent you want to talk about, but that's it. Because that's like not a stereotype. But if I was to say I want to be smarter with a Japanese accent, that's be very, very terrible. Very bad, very bad. So I like when he say smarter. I say I'm gonna be smarter. What? And right away, when I realized, I was like, you know what? It's going to be all right. And I wasn't like projecting or visualizing. I was just like, if this is meant to be, it's meant to be, but maybe not. But, I said, okay, instead of getting all worked up, right? Because that's what we learned through the movement. This is a little parenthesis. Oh, did I say that I'm not at all sponsored, affiliated by any official organization such as Alcoholics Anonymous? Really, this is a podcast created by my own volition. Oh, yeah. And by my own brain stem cells. And that was like a Kramer movie. So we learn to be calm in situations that before would just completely set us off. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for a walk, and I'm going to walk exactly where I went, and I'm going to see. So I'm walking down the sidewalk. There's no wallet. Get to the coffee shop, and of course, remember, it is a day that I'm not speaking, so I can't say, "Hey, did you find my wallet?" I simply walk in. I gather he's the owner, very kind man, by the way, with his staff around. And I just kind of walk up to them, and right away, he just from next to his cash register, he pulls out my wallet and goes, and I go. And then I did that. I learned that. That's like the only sign language, because obviously I'm not doing sign language. No. So I learned how to say this, which is thank you. So if you want to learn something new on the podcast, this is how you say thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Arigato. So, and I was extremely grateful after that. I was so grateful. On the way back, I stopped by a little thrift shop, and I asked the guy, hey, you got any belt buckles? And he looked at me and goes, belt buckles? Yeah, we got belt buckles. And I bought a belt buckle. Or was that another day? No, that was another day. That was another day. Yeah, that wasn't on a Monday, because clearly I don't talk on Monday. So, and he was closed. Okay, it was another day. I'm mixing my stories up, but you get the gist of it. It was actually on Friday. Okay. No, it was on Monday, but I bought the belt buckle on Friday. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm mixing two stories up. I thought you said learning makes you smarter and makes your brain remember things better. It does. It does. So, what happened was, instead of freaking out, instead of visualizing, I just vibrated. I simply knew. And I wanted to make that point because I made that mistake. And understand that I'm far from being perfect. So it can happen, but now I catch myself quicker, like bam, okay, I'm faking it. And the moments that I know when I'm faking it, and this is what I want to share with you folks, when there's a sense of chasing somewhere in what I'm feeling, whether it's a minute or a huge, but there's that kind of pursuing and chasing, I know that at that time there's some fakeness involved, right? Well, my woman, she just stays there and she lays there in bed, and I just do what I got to do. I just do what I got. We've been doing that for faking it. That's what she does. She don't even fake it. She don't know how to fake it. And orgasm. That's what I say. Orgasm, porgasm. I don't even know if I have an orgasm. I don't know what's left in there or down there anymore. He just lay there, and I just lay there next to her, and we just kind of look at the ceiling and go, well, that was that. Was that good for you? Yeah, that was good for me. All right, let's get back to it. And then we go and we take care of the cows and the milk and all that. I have to break out into laughter when I finish these characters. Some of you may be thinking, yeah, oh, dude, man, dude, you got me. I was so much into it, dude. Why'd you break character, man? I shouldn't be even doing that. No. I'm sorry. I did that. But I had to do like the dude guy. He's like, dude, man, why you break out of character like that, man? That was so good. I was tripping, man. I could see the old lady and the old man naked in bed with the pitchfork in between them. I could see that, man. I'm kind of mixing all kinds of accents all together. If you leave in your comments whether or not I break out in my characters too quickly, I will make it a point. I will say, okay, from now on, if I get into a character, I'm just going to go along with it, no matter how or where it takes me. I don't know where I go. It just flows. It just goes. So, going back to the topic, I've learned, and I'm sharing with you folks as again my hypothesis. Right, I'm far from having the truth. That sense of chasing or pursuing or wanting something really, it goes against us. I have an even better example. It happened to me today. As you may know, if you watch podcast number 7, today I was proposed as what we call l'accueil du nouveau. And without getting into too many details, because we did that into episode 7, it's basically the person that greets the new person that stands up and says, I'm an alcoholic, I have a problem. So the way it works is you're part of, it's like a business meeting, and then you stand up and you talk and blah, blah, blah. Hey, Mike Tyson. Oh, bam. Oh, I just hit the microphone. That's not a good thing. And I thought I was the only one being proposed. And then a good member, definitely a good member, and I've seen him do the presentation of the new person in other meetings. He really is good. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he raises his hand and he goes, I proposed myself too. Or no, someone else proposed him, and I guess they had kind of put the coup together, whatever. And I remember my heart just dropped. Boom. Like, what's going on here? And, just like any official committee or whatever, is it the committee, the conseil d'accueil or whatever, they say, okay, well, we need to vote on that. So you both you gentlemen, do I look like a gentleman to you? You both have to step out of the hall. So stepped out. And the first thing I said as the door closed behind, I looked at him and I literally said, dude, what? And he goes, well, I haven't done that in this group yet. I said, yeah, but you've done it in, and he's been in the movement for like years, right? And I was just like, and I remember at that point in time, I was like, and then I had that moment where I realized, hold on a second. Right now, you are in a state of attachment. You are almost in a state of desperation, and you are clearly in the state of chasing. And when I calmed myself, I stopped and I said, you know what, JD, whatever happens, happens. It's in your hands. And at that point, I really was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Because I really do want to be the host or whatever. I'll find the term eventually in English. Hey, I could do that for episode number 9. While I wanted it, I also wanted to make sure that I was applying everything that I'm learning, and detachment is definitely one of them. So I just raised my head up towards JD, as I call him, and I said, all right, is it J? No, it should be GD. It should be GD, but I say JD. And everyone's like, who's JD? What are you spelling with J and D? Jesus, Joy Divine? Joy Divine. That'd be pretty cool, actually. Yo, Joy Divine. Joe Divine? No, Joy Divine. Okay, JD. All right. Because I thought I was spelling God. G-O-D, right? God. G-O-D. And you're saying JD. Yo, JD, what up? Of course, everyone's confused during my podcast. I remember a member said, JD? Oh my God, I get smarter by the minute there. Smart, SMRT or whatever. All right. And we walk back into the room, And of course, it was a long. The hallway is almost empty. Right, we're all like towards the beginning of the room, and so there's like a few. There's like probably like 12 or 15 people, and it was a long. It was like 20 feet of just like. And as we're walking, and it happened to be that him and I are both sitting in the chair right next to each other. So I was like, and then the godfather of the meeting, whatever, the guys in charge of the meeting, they're not in charge, but whatever. And they said, and so we voted for, and I remember my heart was like, okay, and then I say Phoenix, and I was like, ah. And I was moved. I was literally moved. And then I said, well, do I have to give like a little speech or whatever? They go, well, so I just stood in front. And I think possibly there was some humidity in the corner of my eye. Not a tear, because I'm a man, but definitely some high humidity possibilities. And because I just I wanted to say thank you. And that's what, to me, that task is saying thank you by greeting the first person who decides. It's one of the ways of contributing. I also believe that this podcast is also part of that. So if you know someone who's struggling, who's suffering, please share this podcast. It could save someone's life, literally. Because as alcoholics, we get dark thoughts. And this is far from being an entertaining moment. This is the truth. And I know I've been there. I really have been there many years ago. And it's the truth. So it could save someone's life. And so when they released the name and they said Phoenix, I was like, oh. And I do believe, this is my thought, but the act of letting go when I was in the other hallway waiting gave those results. Had I been in an other state where I would have been, come on, man, make it happen today, it would have been a different result. I'm fairly sure about that. The more I'm going through the program, the more I'm understanding, the more I'm like, yeah, it's a learning detachment. It's the whole process about purifying our soul. That's how I see the 12 steps. Oh, I didn't even talk about the 12 step in episode number 7. Whoa. Well, you're cutting it short there. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Oh, snap. I wrote a quote of the day, though. So maybe it could be one quote of the day and one step. So then you get to listen. You're like, oh, darn it. He didn't talk about the step. Now I got to listen to the next podcast to get a step. But then you'll be like, okay, this podcast, he's not going to talk about a step. He's only going to give a quote of the day. So I don't really need to listen to that. I could listen to the next one. But I am so diabolical. No, I'm not diabolical. By the way, I'm not diabolical. That's a terrible. There's so much darkness and weirdness in this world. The last thing I want to say, I just want to say, I will mix and match. You will never know if I am Hindu. No, where do I'm like trying to have this like doctor menacing accent, and then he's Hindu. Because he's a smart man. He's such a smart man. He knows how to program everybody through applications or giving bad customer service. Oh, thank you very much. Give it click. When you're staying on the phone for 2 hours and it goes click. You're like, what the? All right. So, yeah. So there's not going to be that episode is going to be the step, or that episode is going to be a quote. Because I want to give you guys guessing. I'm going to give you guys a chance to figure it out on your own. It's like you're going to be somewhere between. Is he going to talk about a step today, or is he going to? You know what? I didn't forget about it in number 7. I just decided I was. By the way, I'm not Christopher Walken now. I'm just another Goomba. I just. Oh, hey, whoa, hey, oh, hey, yeah, because that's how it is. So I was just saying We never know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of candies. Life is full of chocolate and peanuts and all kinds of magic jujubes and all things. So you never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, yeah. So that's it. So bam. So and instead of doing step number 7, as I was possibly going to say in episode number 7, and this is episode number 8, I'm going to go with step number 12. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Drum roll, please. Hey, and I got the drumstick too. Run to the hills. Run for... Dude, I think your podcast is just for your ego. Because not only do you get to say stupid things on the microphone, but then because you want to make sure you got a good quality show, you actually listen to your podcast at least twice, if not 3 times a week. Am I right? Am I right? Definitely twice. I have to listen to my podcast twice. I have to listen to it once. And as I'm listening to it, although now I'm shortening the version, so that process will probably go quicker, I have to pick and choose kind of those snippets. And I remember the first ones that I did, I would really spend a lot of hours putting snippets together. And now I just kind of, what's the best part of this section or whatever. And maybe eventually if I get a good software, it'll kind of do the AI thing and it'll put snippets together. Yes, I do listen to it twice, possibly 3 times, just to make sure the bar's high. It's got to be entertaining, right? It's what I do. I love, by the way, as I mentioned earlier on, not only do I have this is what I'm talking about. This is, this is a good thing we're talking about because it has to do with the vibrating. When I'm doing this podcast, whether I'm whether I'm here drumming or whether I got my harmonicas and I'm vibrating. I'm in that. There's no pursuing. There's no chasing. It's just there. And when I'm working on it, whether I'm pre-practicing, pre-rehearsing, whatever, I got to learn more words too. Pre-practicing. I don't think that's a real word. And then when I'm listening to it, and then when I'm at my other clients and I play it in the background, I'm like, oh, that could be improved. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Write a comment. I'm doing way less ahs, what, and when in French, I think that's another reason why I don't want to do a podcast in French, because in French we fait que, bah oui, oh, that almost sounded like the subway in Montreal. For those of you living in the city, you know exactly what this is. No, it's not. No, it doesn't sound like that. Yes. Let's get back to this podcast. We're still in a podcast because, as I said, it has to do with vibrating at this frequency where the sense of chasing and pursuing and attachment is nowhere to be found. And today's example is a very good example of that. I am very convinced that when I would have walked out into that hallway and I would have held on to that idea that I needed to do it, it's important, it would have flipped on me. And another reason why, he hit the microphone, must be real. And another reason why I say this, and that's probably why I hit the microphone to really make that point, because before in my life, I was like that. I was so driven by the end result, and I rarely got what I wanted. And it's only in the last, 2 years since I started understanding why it's important to make sure that, and that's why The reason is, you get it? No, I don't get it. What I do get is that it's a muscle that you got to practice. Faking it. Hey, welcome, Grace Wasla. Whoa, she gone. Bam. 151. I'm at 151 eyeballs. Wow, TikTok is really like sending me all over the place. Of course, people may not be standing there holding on to their hat and listening to me for the next 4 hours, but they're still there. I still get to say, because I got to pitch this project, right? And it's like, well, how many people see you a month average? Well, let's say that I get 150 people every time I do one podcast, and I do two, that's 300 times 4. I could say, well, technically speaking, I'm getting about 1,200 people watching me. And I also have 1,400 people subscribe to me. And on YouTube, well, we're growing the numbers. But again, because I'm actually enjoying the process and I'm not solely looking for the final result, but also the process in itself, I'm sure that'll happen much sooner than I expect it to happen. So, I'm pretty sure now we are close to closing episode number 8, which, for you who do not know this, I've actually recorded 2 podcasts this evening. This is my second one. And I'm having a great time. I hope you're having a great time. We talked about, improvised. There's definitely Thelma. We're definitely talking about Thelma and Benson. Yep, Thelma and Benson. They lay in bed and he just does his thing and she just lies there, right? Thelma and Benson. I guess he's a Benson. I don't know, but that's how it. Yeah. And we talked about. Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to talk about step number 12. All right, I forgot, and at the same time, this whole show was a little about step 12. Step number 12 is, once we've come as a member to understand the process that takes place, because there's a lot of steps. They're simple steps. I mean, these guys, they're named Bob and Bill. The process has been around for 91 years. That's pretty amazing, right? So there's these 12 steps. And step number 12, which is the last step, is where you take the knowledge that you have and you share it with others. When you see a person struggling, you share it with them. When a new member walks in and says, "Hi, my name is, and I have a drinking problem." "Hey, welcome, Natasha." And they say, "I have a drinking problem." You go and you help them. And that's part of what I wanted to do today I hit the microphone again. Must be true. As a l'accueil du nouveau. What? Reception of the new person? I'm gonna figure out how to say that for the next episode, number 9. So that's what step is. You basically, you know what? I've been so busy paraphrasing. I'm gonna actually go and get the real definition and save you folks from my paraphrasing. Because Lord knows you can paraphrase all you want. But at one point, your audience, they're going to get bored. All right. Don't have to get bored. More items. More items. Yeah, we need all 12. Google's like, I'm going to show you the first 8. No, I need all 12. Oh, these are longer versions. And these are also, I'm used to actually having them in English. So now, in French. My apologies. So I don't know what it's going to say now in this language that I don't often use. Okay. Step 12. Oh, it says service, which is Alcoholics Anonymous is carrying the message and being the service. Okay, in French, it's definitely different. Hold on, maybe it's just a page. Hold on a second there. I just want to make sure, because sometimes, it's lost in translation. Because that's not what I really see when I read it in French. So I want to make sure that if I get it in English, I'm going to get a version that actually talks about it how I see it in French. Because in French, if I was to translate, ayant reconnu un réveil. I'm actually getting a blank now. Okay, no, this is the same thing. It's long too in English. All right. You know what? I'm just going to read it to you. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Oh yeah, having a spiritual way. Okay, so this is it. Sorry, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. All right. Step number 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles out of our affairs. Now, caveat. I know what it means and it's important because I from what I've read, I changed one thing, and this is kind of my own personal thing. They actually use the word try. And if you know me well enough, you know that I've eliminated the word try from my vocabulary simply because it, what? Oh, no.